Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author Matt Adams.
And we welcome you into the Fairways of Life show from the PXG Custom Studios. You have never played like this before. Log on to pxg.com and see how and why PXG can get you playing your very, very best. Yeah, you can tell we're inside of Studio 2 up here at NBC Sports. I'm hosting, been hosting for the last couple of weeks, Golf Central, and we'll do it right through this weekend. This, of course, is the July 4th holiday that everybody is in the throes of celebrating right now. It is kind of nice because when you're driving back and forth to work, for those of you that are doing that, the highways are nowhere near as crowded as they normally are, which is cool. I'll be working right through it, so it is what it is, but I hope you guys get a chance to enjoy it. I know, Dom, you're spitting fire because you actually have to go to the beach, and I realize that that's very offensive to you. I think you're the only person in the world that hates to go to the beach.
You always come to me when I'm eating breakfast, first of all.
Which is
That's
always.
problem one. Problem two.
How is that
true.
a me problem?
I'm not a beach guy. I'm just not a beach guy. Look at me. Clearly not a beach guy.
What does that mean? What, I mean, everybody loves to go to the ocean, and you got two little kids. You throwing a frisbee with them, or?
I like doing things. I don't like sitting still. It's not a thing I can do.
Well, bring a rake, clean the sand.
I think it's going to be a little too crowded for that one, man.
You know what? I will tell you something we did. When I was with some friends, and it was one of our friends got married down in Cancun, and I remember I can't remember the name of it was one of these all-inclusive places, you know, and I'd never been to an all-inclusive place before, and I'm like, can I have another one? They're like, sure, you can have all you want. Like we were, Modelo obviously was the big beer down there. I'm like, can I have another Modelo? Like, you can have as many as you want. So in my typical way when I travel, just like you when you can't get away from the sport, Dom, I bring a few putters with me. I brought a wedge with me. I knew I was going to the beach. I'm like you. I'm like, hey, it gives me something to do. I brought some golf balls. So we get down there and we found out that the texture of the sand, especially as you got closer to the water, but the texture of the sand was such that it was rolling pretty fast. I mean, it was rolling a good, what? It was rolling a good 10 and a half, 11. And so we made holes, and then it's sand. So I was like a mini Donald Ross. I was like putting banking on it and, you know, little depressions over here that would carry your ball away if you didn't exercise proper caution. And so eventually we ended up building a 9-hole, you know, putting course. And then all the other dudes at the beach, all the other dads, everybody wanted to play. We're like, well, yeah, more the merrier. We didn't care because I had multiple putters, and we could borrow the same golf ball if you needed to, like you have somebody hole out. And so by the end of it, the hotel saw what we had done, and by the end of it, they actually had signs made for us, like hole 1, hole 2, hole 3 through 9. Then they outlined the holes for us with, I forget what they used, some kind of reeds or something. And then when we left, I left the putters. I said, you know, hopefully you guys could put to use. And they said, oh no, we're gonna like offer that as one of our amenities on the beach now.
Yeah, they're gonna monetize it.
Well, not to monetize it. They're just, I don't think they're gonna monetize it. I didn't think to ask them that question.
If they can, they will.
I don't think that was I don't know why your mind goes there, Don. I don't think that's what they're talking about, but I thought it was pretty cool. So there's, maybe for you and at least your boy who play golf, maybe you could do a little putting thing.
Hey, you know what? A project. You just gave me a project. Fantastic.
Yeah. Now I will tell you, the things that help in doing it is you need a broom, because you can brush away debris on the top, but it also gets away the loose sand to get down to the harder stuff, so you get the speed that you want.
I mean, I don't want to. I'm going to look like a lunatic out there on July 4th.
Yeah, but you're going to look like a lunatic anyway.
Beach, and I'm going to be on the beach sweeping.
Yes, but it's less looking like a lunatic.
I tell you what, I'm going to get my own spot at the beach. Everyone's going to leave me alone.
Well, they're going to leave you alone anyways because you're murmuring to yourself about how much you hate.
What is wrong with that guy? Don't set up the chair near him.
you're better off making a putting little game out of it. I'm telling you, once you do it, whatever beer you want to get or whatever you drink on the beach, the White Claws or whatever those things are called, you're going to get whatever you want. That's all I'm saying. So what we are also saying, no comment from Dominic on that. I'm telling you, it's a good idea. I bet there's a lot of you listening that are at the beach this weekend and saying, this is a great idea. I'm gonna give this thing a try. But again, you got to get a little bit closer to the water to do it. So if you got to look at your slope, because of the natural slope of the beach goes, say, from left to right facing it this way. You need to have holes coming back the other way. You'd just be a mini Donald Ross. Start designing this stuff. I love it. See how it works out, because I've never met somebody that hates the beach. He's actually the only one I've ever met. But somewhere out there, as I'm saying that, there's someone sitting there going, I hate the beach too. Social media is going to be like, yeah, Dom. So in today's show, we're going in a couple of really cool directions. Obviously, we get a lot of questions about equipment on the show. And we have strived in earnest to align ourselves with companies that we think will benefit you. And the question of, do I need a new driver, comes up to me all the time. The reality is that you may not. The reality, because this is the part that people don't realize. There's marketing involved in the selling of golf clubs. I mean, that's a celebration of the obvious. But there are only 3 pieces to a club: a head, a shaft, and a grip. Now, we've been telling you nonstop about the Revel grips from Superstroke, because they use classic designs with modern technology, and as a result, you get grips that are revolutionary. They are brand new. They're just out on the market. Okay? Well, we've knocked out that piece. Oftentimes, I find that people are playing with the wrong shaft. And I'll tell you a couple ways that I know. Say you're playing with a decent golfer, somebody that shoots anywhere, their average score could be anywhere from 85 up into the low 90s on average, right? Pretty good. And some days they play really well and they might shoot an 84 or 85 and they feel great about it. Maybe this golfer is, for example, on the taller side. And I've heard this conversation a million times. They'll say to me, this club I got from my father-in-law or my brother or whatever is what the source was. And they said, when I swing it nice and smooth, I absolutely kill the ball. But there's something wrong with my swing, because a lot of times when I hit it, it goes low and left. I just sit there and listen. I don't say too much unless somebody asks about it, be honest with you. But if they ask about it, the first thing I'd look at with that is your shaft is probably too weak. And the issue is that you shouldn't, in your golf swing, try to adapt your swing to your equipment. Your equipment should be adapting to your swing. So the reason why that's going low and left is because of the way that shaft is bowing and torquing coming into. And usually what happens is, say you're in heated competition, maybe it's match play, and you get up there and everything's working, everything's flowing. You're reacting to target. You're not playing swing at that time. And you're hitting, you get this low left hook. The guy's like, oh, I didn't do my nice, smooth, easy swing. No, it's because you're starting to groove and starting to swing, and you're capable of putting speed into the golf ball. And that's the reason why that,
Johnny is
torque
with us
in a shaft is very much like a door opening and closing. So we're going to talk about that in just a few seconds here. We're going to be joined by a young player, new in the world of golf, at least on the professional level, that is already doing remarkable things. This is a player that I would dare say is a name that if today is one of the first times that you've heard it, you're going to hear it many, many more times. And this player's performance speaks to itself. We're going to hear that player speak in just a little bit here in the Fairways of Life show as well. And we're just going to continue down the line. This week, remember, there's only 5 events left. I always get a kick out of it when we talk in any context about the big numbers that players are chasing on the PGA Tour. Inside the top 50 for signature events next year. Inside the top 70 so you get into the FedEx Cup playoffs. Inside the top 100 so you're fully exempt for next year because that number's changing, right? Well, what about they call him a superstar every time. It's like the adjective that's attached to Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler's not playing like a superstar, even though he's gotten into 6 of the signature events. He's gotten in through sponsors exemptions. That's a whole other question of whether you think that that's fair that he be able to do that, given the performance that he's having on the PGA Tour. Although he's had a couple of good events of recently, his body of work, his average finish on the PGA Tour this season is 43rd. So we're going to hear from Ricky coming up to discuss that and where his mindset is with that. Aki Yorihiro is a co-founder and chief technology officer for Newton Golf Shafts, and I'm super excited to have Aki on the program this morning. Aki, welcome into the Fairways of Life show. It's good to have you here.
Oh, good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
It's always a pleasure. Are you a beach guy?
I am actually not a beach guy. I'm coming to Dominic's defense. I like doing things too. What can I say?
Well, what did you think
That's
about
what
the
I'm
putting
talking
on the
about,
beach
guys.
idea? Yeah, I know, Dom. I knew you were going to come in. What did you think about the putting on the beach?
I thought that was excellent. See, I would do that.
Look,
Right?
he's trying to appease us.
Yes, thank you.
Well, you know what? I mean, with that, you guys, this was where I was going to start, but we were talking about putting on the beach. You have your gravity putters, right? Mm-hmm. And how is that going? Talk to us about the gravity putters and what's going on with them.
Well, gravity putters are doing excellent because it's very different, right? Our putters are very different. We call it gravity because we're trying to capture many aspects of gravity that come into play in putting. So I think one of the things that we've noticed is, listen, a lot of us have 10, 20, 40, 100 putters in our garages. And we don't play well, we go seek out another putter, and then on you go, on and on. So, but the problem is the physics of most of the putters that are on the market are all the same. And so, whether you have a mallet, whether you have a blade, they're basically about the same weight, the physics are about the same. And so, to me, that's the definition of insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the result, right? And so I think there's been some newcomers that have tried different theories around putting, and I think that's catching on. Our philosophy is low balance point, which is a lot of weight on the putter head, but our shaft and the grip are very light. So you can actually kind of pendulum it much easier. And, you were talking about, coming down the pipe, 18th hole, you're in match play, there's a lot of pressure, these things start to fail us. We get a little tight around our hands. We want to embrace gravity, because if you take the club back, it's going to get pulled back by gravity. We believe in proper center of gravity within the head. So like vertical center of gravity, lateral center of gravity, all these things that we kind of focused on that I don't think other people are quite focusing on the same way we are. So in that respect, usually when somebody picks our putter up, they usually end up with it. And then for us, it's a matter of getting that message out to the world so that if you're struggling with putting, we all do. But make it a little bit easier for yourself. Harness gravity. Gravity can be your friend in putting.
Yeah, and when that gravity is combined with Yaki's technology in terms of how the club is weighted, technology in terms of how the club is balanced through a stroke, then you've got extremely high MOI. That stands for moment of inertia. That's stability at the moment of impact, because not all of us hit in the center of the club face. The way my eyes work, for example, I tend to hit just north of center. So if you have a better MOI putter, you're going to have that putt start on your intended line more often. And because of this, the way that they do the weighting, you've got this far more of less oscillation, zero torque, which is a technology that is amazing. Combine that with everything else that Yaki's talking about, and these gravity putters can help you sink more putts. Use that gravity to pull the putt of the ball down into the hole. All right, your new fast motion shafts. It's been making a tremendous amount of noise lately, at all levels of the game, I should say, Aki. But let's start from the presumption that people don't know anything about what we're talking about with Newton golf shafts. And if you could start us from step one so people understand.
Sure. Thank you. So we started out as a putter company, but we launched a series of driver shaft in November of 2023. And we make everything ourselves. We have our own factory in Missouri, St. Joseph, Missouri. And we use exclusively Toray carbon fiber. It's Japanese carbon fiber technology. So we launched with what we call a Newton motion shaft.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh, hold on. Go away, Siri or somebody. And so we launched. We're doing very, very well. And then, I spent all of last year on the Champions Tour. And I think we got over 30 players to put it in play. We work with colleges, we work with amateurs. We have a couple of unique features around the motion, which is the bend profile is a little bit wider, and so you can store a little more energy. But I think more importantly, you can feel the loading really, really well, and people are able to time it better. And so consequently, you're going straighter, longer, less effort. Most of us like those kinds of things. And we did really well that first year. This year, we launched what we call a fast motion, which is the slightly lighter version of the motion. On average, about 7 to 10 grams lighter than the motion. So if you have, it's like a 50 gram range stiff shaft versus a 60 gram stiff shaft. And so we launched it a couple months ago, but we've been testing it on the tours. We've been testing it on the LPGA Tour. We've been testing it on the Champions Tour. And it has really caught on fire, which is it's just amazing. So I think these days on the Champions Tour, it's a field of 78. We're representing over 20% of the field. We've had 2 wins in the last 4 weeks. It's just been, so it's working really, really well. And we're tickled to death.
That's awesome. When you talk about a 360 symmetrical design and the storage of kinetic energy, how do we translate that to something someone sitting at home goes, yeah, that sounds like something I would want and I need?
Right. So on the 360, unless you have a Callaway tip, right? And then these days, all the drivers have, the screw in the back, and you have the setting where you're rotating that shaft, right? So Callaway is fixed, so you're not rotating the shaft on the Callaway, but every other manufacturer, you're rotating that shaft. Now, that's one thing. You go to a fitter or a club builder, and you say, hey, I want this shaft. Will you build it for me? They're going to offer you a spining service or a peering service, right? And the explanation is, look, shafts have spines, and so you want to line it up to your setting so that you can get maximum performance out of the shaft and the driver combination. Well, what if you start rotating it, right? You're going to go off spine. I was at the Senior U.S. Open in Colorado at the Broadmoor last week, and pretty much every single player changed their driver setting to 1 click up or even 2 click higher loft to add more spin in the thin air that we were in. And so, if you had a spiny shaft and you were to do that, now you're off spine and the shaft's just going to feel differently, right? So who wants that? In terms of the kinetic energy storage, that's kind of a really fancy way of saying that the bend profile is wider, because anytime the carbon fiber shaft bends, you're storing energy, because when you let it go, it's going to unravel itself or straighten itself. And if you can bend more of the shaft, you are going to be storing more energy, right? It's kind of a simple concept. I think heretofore, it's harder because you start to lose control if you were to bend all of the shaft. And so that's why we came up with this very unique backbone system that allows us to bend it wider without losing control. And I think the proof of the pudding is in player reaction and the fact that people are switching to it. You know, I think on the Champions Tour, listen, they are not paid to play equipment, but they will play the equipment that will make them perform the best. They will never switch if they don't like the Newton motion shafts or the fast motion shafts better than what they've previously had. And I think that's what we're seeing is they're feeling it, they're seeing the difference. You know, so the 360 is working, the kinetic energy storage is working. So far, so good.
And I'm sure, Aki, there are many people that are intimidated by the idea of changing out a golf shaft in their club. To some people, that sounds like they might as well be launching a satellite into space. But as you noted, with the tool on the bottom of your driver, for example, that you can release that screw and pull the shaft out, it's really not that hard. How do we ensure that people get the golf shaft that's right from them, from Newton?
Right. So we have a fitting chart on our website, and you know, it'll tell you, you know, if your speed is such, if you're carrying such, if you're currently swinging, what kind of a shaft. We go by a dot system, so instead of going from, you know, regular or flex or X, things like that, we do 1 through 7 dots for stiffness. So we're more like a Project X. The reason being that, you know, a lot of us, when we were younger, we're swinging stiff shafts or X shafts even. And as we get older, we don't want to let it go because it's kind of an acceptance of defeat, you know, that we're getting older. I see a lot of players who should be swinging an R flex or even a senior flex or even a ladies flex. They refuse to do that because of the letter on the shaft. And so we replace that with a dot system to try and alleviate that. So, you know, our fitting chart is in there. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and then we do a lot of exchanges, you know, because we want people to optimize. Your lead in, you were talking about the driver, you know, you have a head, you have a shaft, and you have a grip. And the thing about the driver head is it's tapped out, right? USGA regulates the initial velocity coming off of a driver head, and we've maxed it out in the last several years. So, you know, you can't go any faster by changing the club head, but you can go faster if you optimize your shaft. And so I highly recommend that. Give it a shot. You don't need to buy a brand new driver. If you have a relatively contemporary driver, they're just as good as most of the brand new clubs. And, you know, I know I'm going to be hated for saying that, but that's just the reality.
That is the reality. NewtonGolfCo.com is the website. NewtonGolfCo.com is the website. So you guys can check out the putters. You guys can check out the shafts. You can make sure that you find what is just right for your game so that you're playing the best golf that you have ever played. And you can do it with Newton Golf. Aki, awesome to catch up with you again, my friend. Thank you so much for your time as ever. Thank you for the massive impact that you guys are having on the game for players of all ability levels because of the very wide array of shafts that you make for whatever speed you are about to impart. We wish you continued success, and we are very proud to represent you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Good to see you. All right, folks, more coming up on the Fairways of Life show. When we come back, remember I talked to you about players who are stars in the game? I believe that you're about to meet one that is a star in the making. Remember this time, remember this place, remember this name, because it's about to happen. Stay with us.
Head down. Water down the left, bunker down the right. Take the club straight back.
Wandering minds. When golfers lose their focus, they're totally... 4, but Bridgestone can help.
Introducing Mindset. The ball scientifically designed to keep you focused.
First, identify your target.
Next, visualize your shot path.
And then focus on the green dot and smooth one.
Play the Tour B and E12 with Mindset technology.
See what happens when we work together? Stuff like that.
FlightScope Mevo Plus is the ultimate indoor and outdoor golf launch monitor and simulator. It gives you the club and ball data you need with the accuracy you demand. Mevo Plus comes with ownership of simulated golf courses for you to play and practice at home. Mevo Plus is an essential golf partner to help you improve and understand your game better. Put more purpose in your practice. To learn more and get your Mevo Plus, shop.
As we welcome you back to the Fairways of Life show from wherever you are joining us, happy July 4th holiday for those of you listening in the United States. Hopefully you guys are having fun in this very, very special week. It's been a very special season as yet for Johnny Keefer, the 24-year-old. It's hard to imagine you could have a better professional start than what he's having right now, his rookie campaign on the Korn Ferry Tour. He's already put together in 13 starts the fact that he's number 2 in the Korn Ferry Tour points list. Obviously, that leads to a tour card on the PGA Tour at the pace that he is going. He's had 8 top 25s, 13 starts, 8 top 25s, 5 top 10s, 2 runner-up finishes, and already a win. That was at the Veritex Bank Championship in April. His scoring average is 3rd on the Korn Ferry Tour. He's absolutely on fire. And, oh, by the way, he's top 25 in distance, greens in regulation, scrambling, putting, birdie average, basically everything. That's why I said it's hard to imagine a better start. He's a Baylor alum. He turned pro all of last year. Johnny, welcome in the show, my man. How you doing? How you feeling about your game right now?
Pretty good. It's nice to be back for a few weeks and get the body reset. I had a long run, so yeah, it's been nice being home.
Has any of this run that you're on right now surprised you? Did you go out with the bravado of saying, no, I know I can do this, this is who I am? Or once you got out there playing amongst other fellow touring professionals, did you even surprise yourself at how well you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that I wouldn't, um, that I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I am surprised of how, quickly it's come. I've been dreaming of this and I've been dreaming of playing in 2 majors and whatever, but I didn't think that it'd happen this quick, especially only graduating last May. So, yeah, no, it's been awesome and it's been a great ride.
What do you think it is then that has allowed you to perform such as you have? I know there's the hard work. I know there's a team you built around yourself. I know there's all these things. There's conviction, there's belief. But once you get out there, for you, are you the type player that when you get between the ropes, you're in your happy place and your heart rate goes down and your breathing starts to regulate and you find your ability to perform?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's probably 100% it. When the tournament starts, it's kind of weird. It's kind of flipped a switch, and I've noticed, I'll be a little bit anxious or maybe not, quite settled in, still learning the course. I might not play good in the Wednesday Pro-Am, but then out of nowhere, you know, on Thursday, I just start hitting better shots and, lock in a little bit better. Makes it more enjoyable when you hit good shots. So I'm having a lot of fun on the course, and yeah, it's been a blast, and I don't know where it really comes from, but as of the last year or so, and it's been a little easier than even in my college career.
What's your background with golf, Johnny? How did you get into it? When did you get into? What age was it? Talk to us about who brought you to the game.
Yeah, so I started golf around 11. I did some like small clinics and summer camps with my parents would sign me up, but I kind of got into it when my dad bribed me with lacrosse equipment. I was big in lacrosse. I loved it. I started lacrosse when I was around 4 and continued to play all the way through high school. And that's kind of how I got into it. My dad was like, "Hey, you need to learn how to play a life sport because lacrosse, I don't think you can move the same way you can right now when you're 40." So he was like, "You might as well try something that you could do for a long time and eventually play with your kids or play in your 40s, 50s, 60s, doesn't matter." So I got into that and yeah, it's taken off. I did not expect or did not have the desire to play professionally all the way until maybe 15 or 16 when I realized, hey, I'm getting pretty good at this. So yeah, it's I'm very thankful that he bribed me with lacrosse equipment.
So when you were, as you just said, 15 or 16 years old, did you envision that you could make it at that time, that you truly could make this a career, that you could become a touring professional? And I guess that I know it sounds like a cliche question, but are you kind of living your dream right now?
I'm definitely living my dream right now. But I was probably delusional and didn't realize how good some of these professionals were at 15 or 16 years old. I really didn't have the perspective and understand, what it took to, tour and play on a consistent basis like these guys do. Even in college, I didn't realize, 9 of the last 10 weeks I've played. My body felt it. I work out, I do all the things that I need to do, but you're still gonna feel it after that kind of stretch. So, coming through college and understanding that, having a coach as experienced as Coach McGraw at Baylor, who's coached a ton of tour players, um, helping me understand that and understand what is necessary to play at this level was huge for me.
Do you separate yourself from Johnny Keefer, the golfer? In other words, I've talked to so many players over the years, thousands, that will tell me that, if they go out and shoot a 74, they're pretty dour, don't talk to me, I'm quiet for a while, blah, blah, blah. But the ones that are truly long-term successful are the ones that are able to slam that score in the trunk along with the cars, and then they'll pick up tomorrow with a new sense of hope. Where do you fall on that spectrum?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd love to say that I don't really care what I shoot on the course because I think I've separated myself from just being a golfer. But at the same time, it kind of drives me. If I shoot a 74, 75, I'm ready to try and shoot a 63 tomorrow. I may not see it on the course, when you're trying to shoot a 63 out at Oakmont, I don't really think that works very well. But at the same time, no, I for the most part, I try and just go with the flow. Understand that golf is such a hard game, and if you go in it with a negative attitude, it's going to kick you right back in the butt and make you feel even worse. So, I try and go out there, try and have as much fun as possible. And yeah, no, I try and separate myself from my score. So, regardless, whenever I come off the course, whether I shoot 74 or 64, I hope no one really can notice that well. And that I can still have a good conversation.
What's your balance like outside of golf? What do you guys like to do? Are you like a beach person? Are you still playing some lacrosse pickup games when you get a chance? Or what's your life like outside of the ropes?
I think lacrosse is probably out of the question.
I
It's a
was
little too
wondering if your
physical.
dad would be
It's a little
horrified.
too
Yeah.
physical. Yeah, my dad would definitely be horrified. I've thought about it. I'm not a huge beach person. I'm also not around a beach. So San Antonio, Texas is pretty landlocked. There's some rivers that I can go hang out at whenever it gets hot and go float. But no, for the most part, I really like, fishing a little bit. I like going to play pickleball. I'm a competitive guy, so anytime I can get in a competitive setting, I really love it and enjoy it. So I'll go play pickleball with my friends. I'll you know, go screw around on the golf course. It's kind of fun to, go hit some crazy shots and but yeah, I like to take some breaks and maybe watch some movies and do all that stuff too.
Are you at a point in your career yet, Johnny, where you're reticent when traveling, say, in a plane, like somebody's really chatty, to tell them what you actually do? Or are you okay saying, yeah, I'm a touring professional? Because I've asked that question of like guys older than you that have been playing for a long time. And I've got a classic string of jobs that they claim to have. They try to come up with the most boring profession. They're like, I'm afraid to say what it is, so I offend somebody that's actually in that profession. But they try to come up with the most boring profession, so it cuts off that line of questioning from the person because they know if they tell them what they really do, it'd go on forever. So where do you stand on that? Are you straight up about it and go, yeah, I'm a touring pro, or you're like, yeah, you know?
Well, I think when you dress like this,
Yeah.
you don't really pass off
Yes.
as an accountant. I have an accounting degree, so I can say that. You don't
All
really
right,
pass
fair
off as
enough,
an
fair enough.
accountant. But I don't really try to avoid the questions. I understand that's kind of part of it too. But I understand it for sure. I've thought about it. I've thought about making up some crazy story and say that I don't even know. But I've definitely not tried to hide it. I enjoy what I do. I think it's an opportunity and it's a blessing to do what I do for a living. So
Sure.
anytime I can, share my story or talk to some people, I don't shy away from it.
Now, you intrigued me by the revelation that you took accounting, that you graduated with a degree in accounting. I'm amazed by that. Ironically, I studied accounting myself, and one of my sons is an accountant. And why? If you were convinced that your pathway is to become a tour pro, how did you have the discipline, or why did you have the discipline to study a major that was pretty intensive?
Yeah, it definitely was intensive. I think a little bit of just competitiveness. My high school had a ranking system, and I always hated whenever my friends would be ranked higher than me. And then kind of same way through college. I thought I knew that it was a challenging major, and I always prided myself on getting an education and having a backup plan. So you know, you never know what can happen in this sport. I could be on top of the world 1 second and then next second I lose it. So I've always thought, try and surround yourself with the best people. And I really enjoyed the people that I did, were in accounting classes with. And then, try to challenge myself academically. And I think a little bit of the competitiveness of, I had some friends in accounting that were doing really well. So I wanted to keep up with them, even though I was in golf and yeah.
It's incredible, actually. I want to gauge your competitiveness for a second. So, when you're in the gym, elliptical, treadmill, or bicycle for cardio?
Ooh, probably treadmill.
Okay, so you're on the treadmill. You're 24 years old. Somebody comes on the treadmill next to you, roughly your same age. Does it automatically become a race? Are you trying to make sure that you're? I can see you shaking your head.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I definitely would. They wouldn't know it. I wouldn't say it,
Of
but
course.
I'd probably stay there a little bit longer than I should. I'd probably go a little faster than I should. I'd probably be looking over a little bit more than I should. So yeah, it would probably become a race.
I understand. It's all good. Now, I want to touch back on something else that you did. You pointed to your shirt, your polo, because of the sponsors on it, because it's a Penguin shirt, etc. First of all, let's take me through your sponsors, and then you and I can talk about your relationship with Penguin as well.
Well, I like to say that I look like a NASCAR driver with all the sponsors all over everywhere.
Sure.
I've got a great support team between, I got in Midwest Performance Sports Cars over here, someone who's helped me since college, Insperity, Veritex, Veritex, there we go.
Yep.
Primus, up here, and then Penguin, and then Waco Credit benefit. And it's been a blessing, to surround myself with some great companies and a great support team too, which is kind of what I've gotten out of all of these sponsors. A lot of times you'll have a sponsor and you won't hear from them or they won't hear from you forever. And I feel like I've gotten to build great relationships with a lot of these sponsors that I have. And they understand that I'm busy, but at the same time, I love to hear from what they would like from me, and then also just keeping relationships built and seeing how they're doing as people.
As far as those decisions go, certainly as a professional athlete, not only in terms of how you look, but in terms of how you're able to perform, your apparel is critically important. We're both wearing the Penguin on our respective apparel. Could you talk to us about how you made the decision that Penguin was the apparel that you wanted to go with, and how you like the variety, the styles, the look, the feel, the performance?
Yeah, no, to be completely honest with you, I had only vaguely seen Original Penguin when I had first, heard about them. Um, I didn't know much of their styles, and then my agent sent over a few shirts. I looked at some of the designs. I was like, whoa, this one's cool. This one's amazing. And then they came out with another style and then another style. And I continued to love and grow a love for how cool and unique some of the designs and the feelings of the shirts are great. I couldn't ask for much more. It doesn't matter if it's hot. It's breathable. It's great. They've got some long sleeves that I'm in love with. They've got some hoodies, a ton of stuff that I just absolutely love. And um, they take care of me really good. So, I couldn't ask for much more from a company that makes, great apparel.
Yeah, it is very cool too. Like you were alluding to, it's not just about what we would wear on a golf course. It's complete lifestyle apparel. So it's really fun, and sneakers and everything else. It's got all the different things
Oh
that you
yeah.
could possibly want and need. The last thing I'll ask you for today, Johnny, it's clear that you have a joy emanating from you. It's clear that you're having a ball and having tons of fun doing what you're doing, and it's great, and it's showing in your performance. You've got all the things that make you the it factor in golf, and I think that your ascension is just going to continue to climb and climb and climb. But now that you're out there, now that you're in the world of golf and you're a professional and you play to be paid for what you do, to make a living, and all this association and all these sponsors and all the rest, you are the CEO of your own company, Johnny Keefer, Inc., if you please. My question to you is, what do you want your message to the world to be? What does your brand stand for?
You know, uh, it's hard to have a hook for my brand. But for the most part, I just really enjoy what I do, and I think it's a blessing to be able to do this for a living. Not many can say that they have an office that's outside and that can change outdoors all the time. Um, and every week is a different opportunity, regardless of whether I'm playing good or bad. So, going out every single week, understanding that I'm blessed and it's an opportunity to, go compete and play against the best in the world, and have some fun is the most important thing for me. So, just understanding that and having everyone else understand that, I'm playing a game for a job, and um, I'm really blessed.
Yeah, that perspective of fun, the embracement of joy, the embracement of gratitude, no doubt it's got a lot to do with, and your competitiveness, incidentally, has a lot to do with why you are so madly successful already this young in your career. Thank you very much for your time, my friend. We wish you the very, very best and continued success.
Thank you for having me on.
It was a pleasure. All right, more coming up in the Fairways of Life show, folks, from the PXG Custom Studios. You have never played like this before. Log on to pxg.com for more information how they can help you play your very, very best golf ever. Stay with us. More coming up.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
Golf season is back, baby. Play the best rounds of your life with PXG. I feel like dancing. I feel like dancing. Visit pxg.com to see what we can do for your game. I'm feeling groovy, so groovy. PXG, you've never played like this before.
Golfers today are a different breed.
Who? Me?
We see the game in a different way.
We all have our own styles.
We swing our own swing. But we have one thing in common.
We are all about the details.
Introducing the Revel line of grips from Superstroke. With 3 distinct offerings to choose from, the Revel is in the details.
What would your ultimate golf experience be like? Just you and a friend? Or would you round up some buddies for a foursome? Just one day? Or an entire week? There's a good chance your ultimate golf experience could be Michigan's magnificent 10. 10 incredible courses set among 3 remarkable resorts. See for yourself. Book your ultimate golf experience today.
Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams. You know, Hub's Peanuts has been cooking up the top 1% of peanuts for over 70 years. And these aren't your average nut. These are super extra large Virginia peanuts cooked in the USA. Family-owned Hub's Peanuts have more protein than any other nuts. So whether it's a boost on the course or a special gift, the variety of flavors guarantees Hub's Peanuts is just what you need. Family-owned, nutritious, delicious, and sustainable. Hub's Peanuts, it's just right. HubsPeanuts.com.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
Welcome back to the Fairways of Life show. And again, happy 4th of July weekend to everybody celebrating in the United States. Wish all the very, very best and have a lot of fun in the days that surround. So I've had a lot of fun on this show. One, it was fun having Johnny on the show, giving you guys a chance to meet a new young player on the ascent. And I was just saying to Dom when we were in that commercial break, I was like, doing that interview with Johnny, I've never spoken to him before, doing that interview with Johnny, it's so easy to see how somebody can, I'm sure you guys feel the same way, how somebody can instantly become a fan of a young player like that. And he's doing so well. He's only got 13 events under his belt, and he's number 2 currently in the points and playing extremely well, already a win under his belt, 5 top 10s. It's unbelievable what he's doing and leading or near the top in many of the statistical categories as well. So that was really fun. I love getting into the equipment side. I love the fact that, as you guys probably know, you've heard over if you watch the show with any regularity, Fairways of Life show is sold out, and we've got people coming to us often trying to get on the show because they know it's the largest golf news and talk show in the world because of how it's syndicated and where it's available, and the fact that it's an independent program, that it doesn't belong to a major media entity, even though we use major media entities for our distribution. So who we align ourselves with is really important to me. It's fundamental to what we do. And being aligned with Ben Hogan Golf means so much. The things that I love about it are the obvious ones, right? The first one, which is you're dealing with the legacy of Ben Hogan. And it is a stewardship for the company to have that name, to have that brand, and to continue to carry it into the marketplace because it carries Ben Hogan's name on it, just like it did from when he started the company back in 1953. One of the most iconic golfers of all time. The fact that Mr. Hogan had a near fatal car accident that he came back from and won 6 of his 9 major championships after the accident, that he was the first guy as a professional to hold 3 of the 4 major championships and couldn't go for the Grand Slam because the scheduling of the 2 majors were too close to each other, being the PGA and the Open when he won it at Carnoustie. There's so much about Ben Hogan that makes him stand out as completely unique in the spectrum of the all-time greats, the pantheon of those who would sit at that level in the game of golf. So it means something. And I know it means, I've said this to you guys a million times, I talk about it almost every day, that I know it means something when you put a Ben Hogan piece of golf equipment into your golf bag, whether it's a set of irons, whether it's a wedge, whether it's a putter, a hybrid, or fairway metal, or driver, whatever it is, that there's pride associated with that. But the way that Ben Hogan Golf decided to structure their business also was as unique as that man. It is direct to you. So that when you're talking to your buddies, you can tell them in all earnest that your tour truck is actually Ben Hogan Golf. It is a direct relationship. And because it's a direct relationship, that a name like Ben Hogan, that deserves to be the most elite golf equipment in the entire industry, and I'm talking about pricing, etc., it isn't, because the relationship is direct. They don't have all those layers of overhead. It's absolutely a brilliant business model. And for all those reasons and many, many more, we love to be associated with Ben Hogan Golf. Simon Millington is joining me right now. And Simon is the president and the CEO of Ben Hogan Golf, and of course some other company, Golf Brands, Inc. I love catching up with Simon for no other reason to see how he's doing, but also because Ben Hogan Golf has come out with some really cool products of late that we've had a chance to talk to you about, but it's nothing like hearing it from the man himself. Simon, how are you, my friend? How's the season going for you?
Really good, thank you. Yeah, it's good. It's been a bit of an adventure this year, but it's been very good. Yeah, it's a lot happening, and all the new ranges out for the Ben Hogan line this year, which has been really well received. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun this year.
Well, why don't we start with the irons, Simon, if you don't mind, and talk about the iron offerings that you have, including those new offerings, and how, I mean, again, it almost sounds cliche to say you have something for everyone, but with the breadth and width of the line and the incredible technology and the beauty of the design and engineering that you've incorporated, you really do have clubs that are going to fit a very, very wide desire.
Yeah, that's right. So if you like, sort of the clubs which Ben Hogan will be always forever most famous for is obviously Players Clubs, and the new Fort Worth irons, the muscle back and the cavity back, the MB and the CB, have been incredibly well received. They perform incredibly well. The ceramic matrix composite inside them, where it allows us to move the moment of inertia on every iron, has been game-changing. It's game-changing technology. And to put it into a forged iron, it's so exciting. It makes them easier to hit, but you still get that incredible playability and feel that you would expect. The ability to play shots, to shape the ball, to control the flight, and that is incredible. So you're getting the benefits of sort of modern technology, but still with sort of Mr. Hogan's legacy of the fine piece of jewelry, and a golf club for really, in the MB, obviously for the low handicap for the good players, for the CB for the the high handicappers, the middle handicappers, and then we go into the Legend iron, which is a foamed filled iron, fantastic to use, very easy to hit. Again, modern technology, and then we have the M50, which is sort of a distance iron, a bit of help with the cavity, but again forged, beautifully milled. So just a really nice lineup of irons that have been so well, so well received.
Yeah, you look at these photos, Simon, they're gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous look.
Yeah, and it's nice, we've been doing as well in the CB and the MB, we do a combo set. So for the players who want that MB sort of in 8 to wedge, and then they want a bit more assistance in the longer irons. But, you've got that great looking iron still. When you look down on the CB, you won't, it doesn't look like a cavity back, a big cavity back. It's still got that really good top line. and still the feel that you'd expect from a premium forged iron.
Beautiful. The PTX metal woods are looking gorgeous as well. Could you talk to us about what your new offering is there?
Yeah, so we've got the PTX Max and the PTX Low Spin for the faster swing speeds. Again, beautifully designed, carbon crown, adjustable that you would expect. Choice of shafts. When you place your order, you can choose an array of shafts and grips. So we build everything in America. So whatever you need, we've got an offering for you there. You can see. So it's got this, the famous sort of Ben Hogan speed slot there, actually in carbon this time, but so taking some weight out there, a bit more aerodynamic for a bit more club head speed. So some sort of, DNA of Ben Hogan that remains in there, but with modern technology. So we love trying to merge those two together to, the legacy is important, but obviously we have to be at the top of the game in terms of performance. So, in these clubs, we think we've done that pretty well.
No, there's no doubt about that. How about the fairway metals in the technology? I realize there's some technology that runs through the entirety of the family, but what about the fairway metals as a product area?
Again, yeah, it's fantastic performance. Very, looks like a beautiful, again, a beautiful golf club. But again, the technology, we've moved some weight back, make it more user friendly. It's still, it's designed for every golfer in with the woods. But again, beautiful technology, sits behind the ball very cleanly and square. And, we put what was really great for us this year is throughout all the woods, the driver, the fairway, the hybrids, we 3D printed everything for sampling. So, and with that, you wouldn't know that it's not, a normal club, but it is a normal club. It's fully playable. And what it allows us to do is modify the shape as we go along. I'm really fussy on drivers. So I think we did 3 or 4 versions of the driver before we got the shape quite right. Whereas normally when you would do that sort of thing, you would tool it all up and then you're kind of a little bit committed at that time. You've invested a lot of money, but with the 3D printing, what it allows you to do is to, tinker with the shape, get it right. It took us longer, but we wanted to get it right. Got the shape right. You can go out and try them and play them and test them. So that's great. And, that took it all the way through fairways and hybrids. And, I'm one of the first version of the 3D printed hybrid I'm still using. You wouldn't, it's a completely normal golf club. It's just the way it's done.
Fascinating. When you say you can take them out and try them and play them, I do want to talk to you about the relationship between you and your end consumer, the people who are seeking Ben Hogan golf equipment. How is it done? How easy is it to do it? And what options do people have to put your clubs in play?
So, yeah, if you go onto benhogangolf.com, we have a trial program, so you can order a 7-iron and we'll ship that out to you. So you can, if you want to try before you buy, same with the woods hybrids, whatever you want, you can have a club to your specifications, go out, try it. And then once you've done that, or if you're ready to go, and a lot of people sort of know their specs, and we have a lot of loyal Ben Hogan followers who, they trust the brand and trust what we're doing, and they know their specs, so they'll come on and say, right, I want. So you can go on there, you can order the loft, the lie you want, the shafts. We've got an array of shaft options in steel and graphite. Same runs all the way through the wedges, the putters. Everything we're doing is we're building it here in the US. So yes, it's not, you're not going to get it the next day because we're going to build the club to your specifications, but we work to about a week, 10-day turnaround mostly. We're forever trying to recruit more people into the assembly team, but it's everything is built. There's nothing sitting there in stock ready to go. It's literally to your specs. And then, like I say, we've got some really top quality people building. So they'll do the adjustments. They'll do, if you want it a little bit stronger, a little bit weaker, whatever you need, they're experts to do. And obviously being forged in the irons, it makes it that much easier to do that well.
See, this goes to what I was saying at the start of this segment. With Ben Hogan Golf, and you just heard Simon talking about it, If there are particular specs you need, they're going to make sure that you get them. They are literally your tour truck, and your tour truck is Ben Hogan Golf. What Simon was describing there, if you're a person that doesn't know specifically what's best for you, they'll work with you as finding out, to find out exactly what those spectrums of technology are for you as well. It's all there available. Simon, what I love is that you called the product jewelry. I think that was one of the most apt descriptions I've ever heard for the product, because you're talking about massive technology, design engineering for maximum performance, but it's built in a package that truly is art. It truly is a jewelry. And then you said another word too that's really resonating with me right now. You used the word legacy, because legacy talks to what you're doing as a company in keeping alive the Ben Hogan brand, and it also speaks to, I think, the aspirations for the people that play Ben Hogan golf equipment, for the legacy that was Ben Hogan's, but for the legacy that they are hoping to establish in their own game, to play their very, very best in whatever the majors are of their particular life. So for all of that, my friend, thank you very much for everything that you and your family are doing. We're super excited about it, and we are very, very proud to represent the brand.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate it. It was lovely working with you.
It's good to see you again, my friend. If you need anything from us at any time, please indeed let us know. And that extends for all of you too. BenHoganGolf.com. Please log on there. Just take the time, even if you're not thinking of doing something currently, take the time to peruse. It's like, to me, it's like walking through a museum. Take the time to peruse and see what's out there and start to get an understanding of product areas that are available to you that you may not be considering. Because remember, we just touched on the metalwoods and the irons, two huge categories for Ben Hogan, but they fill in every part of your golf bag, including the golf bag itself. It is all available through BenHoganGolf.com if you get a chance to log on. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today, folks, from wherever around the world you happen to be watching the show. Again, for those of you in the United States enjoying the July 4th holiday, have all the fun you can. Be careful out there. Thank you for your time once more, and until we are together again, be well. Goodbye for now.